champion, ladies and gentlemen, June 1st of this year. It all goes down as...
No, but that really, really rattled him for him to think of and plan doing something like that.
Yeah, because we see things happen.
If you want to go now, we can go now. And AJ was pretty calm. He said, do you want me to smash this chair across your face? And then they got separated.
Anthony Joshua almost kills Jake Paul at backstage. After he pushed AJ in a press conference, Jake Paul's shove at the press conference was a massive mistake. AJ's anger was instant and unstoppable. This wasn't a minor scuffle. Backstage tension escalated into a full-on warning. Paul clearly underestimated AJ's raw power and championship instincts.
Fireworks at the Garden on that date.
After the press conference ended, Anthony Joshua wasted no time letting his fury out on Jake Paul backstage. The atmosphere instantly turned explosive, tension crackling in the air. Boxing fans around the world were left stunned, witnessing AJ's raw aggression and the intensity of the moment. Jake Paul clearly pushed the wrong champion, and the scene was unforgettable.
You're not on my level. I don't need to address you, bro. Leave it. I don't need to address you, bro. You're not on my...
Eddie Hearn perfectly sums up the explosive energy between Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. AJ's temper flared naturally after being provoked, and this backstage confrontation just shows how high stakes and personal this fight has become. Jake Paul clearly underestimated AJ's intensity, and the world can expect fireworks when they finally meet in the ring.
You know, when you're getting poked like that in a face-to-face, you know, after a while the temper goes, and it's good. You know, I think it's going to be that kind of fight.
Johnny Nelson perfectly captures the chaos backstage. AJ's reaction wasn't just anger, it was a warning. Jake Paul's antics turned a press conference stunt into a dangerous scenario, and the boxing world was left stunned. This wasn't showmanship anymore. This was a raw display of real consequences and AJ's lethal intensity.
Done this morning, man, to make the way how he's done it, you know, on the morning of a fight, it's just wrong. It's dangerous, and the board are now in a situation where they think shit. So I don't know how to.
While some view press conference scuffles as entertainment, the Wade concept highlights the thin line between showmanship and danger. Jake Paul got a harsh lesson. Anthony Joshua doesn't play games. That slap escalated tensions backstage, leaving everyone shocked. AJ's presence commands respect, and Paul learned firsthand that provoking a champion has real consequences.
Oh, I mean, I don't mind fighters pushing and shoving. Probably shouldn't be slapping each other at the face-off. Security did a pretty good job of corralling it while they could, but I thought it was just an open-hand slap from Chris.
Duke McKenzie nails it. Jake Paul's antics, though reckless, are undeniably entertaining. The backstage explosion may have shocked fans, but in boxing's high-stakes spectacle, moments like these draw attention, headlines, and ticket sales. Anthony Joshua's response only amplified the drama, proving that crossing a true champion comes with consequences no stunt can disguise.
I thought it was a stroke of genius, personally. I don't see there's any harm in it. You know, this is the entertainment business that we live in now, and if you're not going to be entertaining, you're not...
Adam Catterall sums up the chaos Jake Paul's provocation, split opinions instantly. Some condemn it as childish, while others see the fuel it adds to the fight hype. Anthony Joshua's controlled fury backstage reminded everyone why he's the real deal. This incident didn't just make headlines, it put Paul in his place in the boxing hierarchy.
I do feel it's maybe what the sport doesn't need, and yet many people are saying, no, it's great, you watch it. Everybody wants to go to...
Adam Smith highlights the uncertainty. Jake Paul's stunt may have seemed calculated, but Anthony Joshua's intensity proved that anything can happen when real fighters meet. No scripted drama here. AJ's reaction backstage turned this press event into a warning. Disrespecting a champion comes with serious, immediate consequences.
You don't know what's going to happen because it's different on that day than any other day. It just sort of scripts go out the window.
Tony Bellew hits the nail on the head. What unfolded at the press conference was pure circus, not sport. Jake Paul's childish push on Anthony Joshua instantly backfired, exposing him as nothing more than a YouTube clown trying to act tough. AJ's restrained but deadly reaction backstage reminded everyone why real champions don't play games. leaving Paul humiliated and the boxing world in stunned awe. This wasn't just a stunt. It was a lesson in respect.
Frightening for the sport. It's not that it's bad, it's frightening. But listen, this isn't boxing as a sport, this is the circus.
Roy Jones Jr. underscores Anthony Joshua's professionalism. While Jake Paul was busy playing the clown and causing chaos, AJ maintained his calm, focused energy. The backstage scuffle didn't rattle them. It only revealed the stark contrast between a seasoned champion and a YouTuber trying to act dangerous. Paul's antics were laughable, but AJ's intensity made it clear. Crossing him has serious consequences.
Going through the motion, he's serious about it, you know, so I liked it.
Yeah, like his energy was like very calming throughout the week.
Yes, it was until now.
Duke McKenzie frames it perfectly. Boxing now blends sport with entertainment, and Jake Paul's press conference stunt was pure spectacle. Sure, it embarrassed him when AJ struck back, but in this business, hype sells. Anthony Joshua, the real professional, turned Paul's prank into a warning. YouTube antics don't belong in a champion's world, and anyone acting tough gets exposed.
Oh, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me, but like I say, I don't see there's any harm in it. It doesn't bring the sport into disrepute in any way. This is the show business world that we live in. There's the fight game, and then there's the fight business. And
Dave Coldwell breaks it down. AJ's response wasn't impulsive. It was calculated. Jake Paul's press conference push looked like a joke, but Anthony Joshua didn't hesitate backstage. Every move he made was measured, sending a clear message. You can't disrespect a heavyweight champion and get away with it. Paul's antics looked pathetic, and AJ's authority turned the moment into a defining statement.
It's premeditated, then it's not uncharacteristic. At the time, you're thinking it's like reaction. So no, it's not, because he premeditates everything. And it was funny, but I don't agree with...
Johnny Nelson perfectly captures the spectacle of what went down. Jake Paul, thinking he could play the villain and provoke Anthony Joshua, ended up humiliating himself instead. AJ's reaction wasn't just about retaliation. It was a calculated assertion of dominance, reminding the world why he's a two-time Olympic gold medalist and a former world champion. Paul's antics at the press conference may have been for clicks and hype, but the real lesson came backstage. This wasn't a YouTube stunt that went viral for laughs. It was a harsh reminder that in boxing, real champions don't tolerate disrespect. Joshua's intensity and professionalism turned a petty push into a career-defining moment of humiliation for Paul. Fans are left in awe of AJ's composure and shocked at Paul's lack of judgment, reinforcing the huge gap in legitimacy, skill, and heart between the two fighters.
Yeah, it was wrong. He put his hands on it, and so it was wrong. But you know what? He's saying I'm going to play the villain. You know, being the prop, done everything right.
Paul Smith reminds us that while the incident was serious, it also carried an element of entertainment. Watching Jake Paul try to assert himself and fail so spectacularly backstage was almost poetic. Anthony Joshua didn't overreact. He delivered a lesson in control and intimidation. For fans, it was a perfect mix of danger and spectacle, exposing Paul as a YouTube pretender against a real heavyweight champion. AJ's authority and experience contrasted sharply with Paul's bravado, creating a moment that will be dissected and replayed endlessly. Smith's laughter mirrors the audience's reaction. This was both alarming and satisfying, a backstage clash where the consequences of disrespect were vividly clear.
I'm not going to lie, when it happens, I laughed my head off. I absolutely laughed my head off. I did too. I thought it was quite poetic. I thought what happened was quite funny.
Duke McKenzie hits the nail on the head. Jake Paul walked straight into a storm he wasn't prepared for, provoking Anthony Joshua, one of the most accomplished heavyweights of this era. Backstage was reckless beyond comprehension. AJ's response was not just anger. It was a demonstration of raw power and discipline. Paul, with all his YouTube bravado, realize that social media fame doesn't grant immunity in a real fight scenario. Every punch, every shove carries consequences. And in this case, it exposed Paul's vulnerability to the boxing world. Fans and analysts alike watched in shock as Joshua's dominance became crystal clear. Paul's antics weren't clever, they were dangerous. Mackenzie's words serve as both a warning and a reality check. Jake Paul's stunts may gain clicks, but when dealing with real champions, the outcome could be catastrophic. This backstage clash confirmed who really commands respect in the ring.
Jake Paul is in danger, serious danger. I know you've heard it all before, but I can just reiterate what everybody else is saying. He's in serious danger of being seriously hurt.
Johnny Nelson doesn't sugarcoat it. If Anthony Joshua had squared off with Jake Paul in a sanctioned fight, it would be a brutal affair from start to finish. Paul's bravado and social media hype mean nothing against AJ's experience, strength, and Olympic pedigree. Nelson paints a chilling picture. Joshua wouldn't simply win. He would dominate completely, ending any illusions Paul has about parity in the ring. The press conference shove was a microcosm of what would happen under real conditions. Joshua's measured but powerful response backstage was a glimpse of the destruction Paul would face if he steps into the ring unprepared. Boxing fans were left stunned and reminded why Anthony Joshua remains a heavyweight force and why Jake Paul is dangerously out of his depth.
Joshua, unless he's torturing him all the way through, I keep saying it. I've thought about it. I'm like, you know what? AJ shouldn't let this boy off.
The Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul backstage incident has sent shockwaves across the boxing world. AJ's reaction wasn't just anger, it was a statement. Pushing boundaries at a press conference comes with consequences, and Paul learned the hard way that hype and social media stunts don't translate to real power. Experts like Duke McKenzie and Johnny Nelson were unanimous. Jake Paul was in serious danger, and AJ's dominance was undeniable. Fans were less stunned, debating whether this was entertainment or a serious warning to anyone underestimating real champions. The lesson is clear. Experience, skill, and raw power cannot be matched by online bravado. Boxing fans, now it's your turn. How far do you think Jake Paul can go before meeting someone like AJ? Will he ever truly step up? Or is this the peak of his stunt-driven career? Drop your thoughts in the comments.